I'm looking at that one. Hello everyone, my name is Dexter B. Jenkins and welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate. This is our monthly meetup, and so we are here at New England Christian Television Network, also known as NECTN. And so what we're doing is we're talking all things real estate. As you guys know, this is I think this is our fifth or sixth, maybe our seventh meeting that we've been here. And the gist of this real estate meetup as well as the show is really to show you how to use real estate as a wealth creation tool. And so what we do is we bring you thought leaders and real estate gurus and all of that. And so tonight's guest is someone I met a couple of years ago. Her name is Crystal. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, but she works predominantly she's all over the place, but she's stationed in Western Mass. So one of the things we want to do is get a sense of what's going on out there. Like I tell you guys all the time, we use here at Let's Talk Real Estate what we call the FFM formula, which stands for find, fund, and monetize. So basically, how do you find property? Number two, how do you fund it? Meaning, where's the money coming from? And then number three, monetizing it. And that simply means, what's your exit strategy? So there are many exit strategies. So maybe you'll buy and hold, you'll fix and flip, you'll wholesale, or some combination of the two, or actually a combination of the three. And so that is what this session is all about. If you do have questions, you can actually call in. The number should be on the screen, I believe. And then if you have questions, you can also shoot us an email it's on the screen. I probably should be wearing some glasses. But hopefully it's on there, right? It's on there. You can see on the screen exactly what email to shoot the email to, and then also what telephone number to call. So audience, would you guys welcome my guest, Crystal Provencher?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Crystal, for hanging out with us. Like I said, Crystal and I met probably, we said pre-COVID, so we're probably close to 4 or 5 years now. And we've had different conversations, and she's all over the place. She's stationed out in Western Mass, but I'm quite sure her car has hundreds of thousands of miles.
It does.
Hundreds of thousands of miles on it, because she is one who is on the go. And so, like I said, I want to have her come in today and really talk to us about exactly what's going on in Western Mass. Because if you guys have been with us, we've had Jeff Nelson came in and talked about what's going on in Rhode Island. Then obviously, because we're here in Boston, we know what's going on here. And then we've done some investing in New Bedford, and then we've had some of our tribe, so to speak, buy property in Attleboro, and Vanessa's out in Georgia and all that. So I'll tell you, listen, the great thing about this is that there's real estate everywhere. And so
amen to that.
And so we just got to find it. So without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Crystal, ask her some questions. Actually, why don't you introduce yourself, because you know yourself better than I know you.
Okay.
So tell the crowd about yourself.
All right. Well, first and foremost, thank you, Dexter, for having me on. I feel very honored to be on your show. And yeah, I don't know, I just get emotional when I start talking. But anyway, thank you so much for that. But my name is Crystal Provencher. I work with Keller Williams Realty, and I have been in the business 5+ years, which probably seems odd because I probably look old enough to be a veteran agent at this point, but I have been in multiple businesses throughout my life, so I know a little bit about real estate, a little bit about business. So I like to share what I do know. It's definitely a learning process, and I appreciate people like you that are out there and spearheading things, and we're all learning from each other. So. But I've lived here in New England for about 5 years, and like I said, I've been in multiple businesses, but originally from Texas and Colorado. So once again, my driving, when you live in larger states, going a couple hours is no big deal. Right. You just keep driving. But anyway, anything personal, I have three adult children, and I'm going on my 5th grandchild, so I feel pretty excited about that.
Grandkids are good. You can send them home.
Grandkids are great. Grandkids are great. Yes, it's a whole different world when you have a grandbaby. I know you guys, some of you guys know that. So I'm very, very appreciative and very blessed for that.
Well, talk to us about what's going on out in Western Mass. The reason why I want to have you on is one of the things that people always ask me, well, Dexter, where can I invest out in Western Mass? And I'm like, well, because Kendra and I spent some time in Pittsfield, which is Western Mass, but that's way up there. Mm-hmm. So really just want to get a sense of where are the opportunities for people to either buy retail or even buy and invest. So give us a sense of what's going on out there.
Okay. If you know the geography of at least part of Western Mass, where I predominantly work, and my broker's offices are up and down I-91. So if you're familiar with I-91, we'll do a little geographic, we'll do a little geography here. Obviously, we have Franklin County, Hampshire County, Hampden County. It just truly depends on which county that you're looking at to purchase in, invest in, determines what your price point's going to be, because it's so different in each county and even each pocket of the county. So we can start with Springfield, because that seems to be where most people are interested in investing or buying. And Springfield, I kind of equate to New Bedford to a degree, for many reasons. One of them, and the populations is kind of close.
It's similar.
It's similar. Springfield is like 155,000 as opposed to New Bedford about 95,000. Right. So when you get into the metropolis of Springfield, you're looking at, as far as single family homes pricing, anywhere from 150,000 on up. It is a little less expensive to invest there and to purchase there, but in the outlying areas, it does get much more expensive. When you start getting a little more land over to the east side of the Connecticut River as opposed to the west side of Connecticut River, is a little more expensive over there too. And obviously, it depends on schools, where people want to live, and there's so many factors involved. But if you guys are really only looking right now about investing there, the market has changed so much because of the shift. And
so quickly, too.
Very quickly. I mean, what was going on last week is different this week. Right. The multifamilies, they're there, but it's slim. And a lot of times here recently, things have been overpriced, only because of the shift. Right. We've been used to pricing housing higher because we were 2020 and 2021 COVID happy, basically, with real estate. Right. Now people are seeing, okay, if somebody thinks that they missed the boat and you're a seller, whether it's multifamily, single family, they're scrambling. Right. Oh my gosh, we can get top dollar, we can get 50 over, whatnot, but may not be the case, because whatever you think, whatever I think, whatever any of us think, it doesn't matter. What the market says.
What the client thinks.
Well, it's what the market says speaks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if sellers are out there and they're feeling that they can get more than they can, you're going to have a price drop, and you really never want to have, at least in that regard, you never really want to have a price drop. You want to make sure that you price it according to the market. Right. So then we go to, okay, what does our market look like as far as buyers? Then we say, okay, we see price drops. Oh, okay, we know we're in a shift. That might be the time I want to start really looking into that. Right. But then we, like I said, we have the interest rate too, which I talked to my lender today. Yeah, exactly. And, the single family, if you had a 750, I know this is kind of off the subject for a second.
No, we're talking real estate. We're talking real estate. So that's part of it now, big part of it. 750 credit score, let's say you have, single family home is right around 7%. Multifamily home, or 7.1, 7.2. Multifamily home are a little higher sevens, 7.8, 7.9.
just because of the risk involved and that type of thing. So with a multifamily.
Right.
So, I mean, it's been crazy all over the
Right.
board.
Right.
But there again, everybody is searching for a house. If you're investing, you're looking hard for a house in Springfield multifamily that you can purchase. But like I said, a lot of people think that they can get top dollar if you're a seller, and then all of a sudden we have this shift and a little bit of drop in the market, and now the buyers are saying, well, I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay that anymore. We're not going to overpay anymore.
Right.
So then the house might sit.
Right.
Okay, and then here we are with homes that are 20 and then 30 and all of a sudden 100 days on the market sitting.
And that wasn't happening.
And that was not happening. There were still, there were still days on the market, significant amount, but not like now.
No.
And I think everybody's just, kind of digging their heels in. The sellers are going, I'm not going to sell for, anything less than a certain price, and the buyers are saying, I'm not going to buy for any more. A certain price. So, and then you just kind of have this tug of war.
Stalemate going on.
So you have a little bit of a tug of war, but anywhere between, for single family homes, and sometimes it's only a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 150,000 Metro Springfield, on up to 253. You can pick something up.
Right.
But multifamily, it can kind of run the same, a little bit higher. You're looking, because it is a multifamily, so you're looking at 250, 225 on up, depending on where it's at.
Right.
There again, where they are is pretty much, inside Springfield.
Right. And then locations, just so you guys know, real estate location determined anyway, based off price and things of that nature. So talk about, if a person is looking to buy, I'm thinking, so we have a lot of investors here. What's the job situation like out there, and when, in your experience, what are you seeing the type of jobs that people have who are buying these homes?
Type of people that, as far as single family homes?
Either.
Okay.
Either one.
It's been tough. I think some of the people that do, they're keeping their jobs. They're keeping what they have.
Right.
Or they're looking.
Right.
They're looking because they've had we've been in COVID. We didn't have to work for a while. So people are still looking, there's still people out there that are looking for help.
Right.
And some people are just keeping their, they're keeping their jobs. They're keeping their jobs. They don't want to do a whole lot of moving, either whether it's moving from a job or moving from their house, because, the government tends to bring a little fear in us. And so when that happens, people, they just kind of, stand firm a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I think the economy is. I'm not an economist. So I can't come.
I'm a realtor, not an economist.
I'm just here to sell you a house. Help you buy a house.
Right. But I think when you're looking at, and this is for you guys who are, whether you're investors or whatever, I'm thinking more so investors right now. When you're looking to go into a particular area, that's one of the factors you have to take into account.
Right.
Meaning, okay, if I buy this property, just saying we're talking Springfield right now, but it could be anywhere. Where are the jobs? Because if people rent your place and they don't have money, they'll be behind on your rent very quickly. And so you have to make sure that there are jobs there. Then you also have to see what type of jobs are there. Because most of you guys know that we invested. Our first investment was not in our hometown. It was in New Bedford. So New Bedford is about 45 minutes or so from where I live. And that was one of the first questions I asked: where do people work at? And so now things have changed a little bit because of COVID, and people are working from home, and you got all type of things going on. So I think that's an advantage in some respects, because what people can do is Zoom has been our best friend, and Google Meets and whatever else. And so a lot of people are just working in their pajamas with a clean shirt on and doing their thing, so that opens up opportunity. But I think, as we're talking about looking at and thinking like investors, you got to begin to ask yourself, where are the jobs at, and so on and so forth. And then, also, are the people that I'm putting into my units, are they seasonal workers? because I see people do that, and I'm like, okay, what do they do for work? And I'm like, okay, you need to get a sense of, is this something that they're going to have a solid, steady job for a long period of time, or, it changes, so those are just factors you have to look at into.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I really don't see a lot of seasonal workers there.
Right.
But, just industry,
Right.
just like it's been for a while. I mean, you have Mass Mutual, you have, quite a few hospitals.
Right.
I mean, just people, just
which is good stuff.
basic,
Colleges,
yeah,
a bunch of
basic,
colleges.
Yeah, quite a
Bunch
few
of
colleges,
colleges,
and then you get on up. You get Holyoke College. You go on
Exactly.
up to UMass Amherst.
Right, and I think that is an opportunity. We were talking last month, I think, about thinking outside the box of looking at how to rent your place, because those are, if you think like an investor, those opportunities. So college kids, so you're talking about my son went to AIC for 2 years. So AIC, you got Springfield College, you got a whole bunch of different colleges around it, and like you said, going up to Holyoke, and so my daughter is at my youngest daughter is at Sacred Heart University, and so she has an apartment off campus, and so she's renting one room, and then the other people have the other 3 rooms, and they each paying $750 a month. So like ting ling 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 ling, I need one of those. So my point being is, and then it depends on where you go, Airbnb and those type of things. I was telling you, I think last time we got together, I was saying a friend of mine just started renting out. He got an Airbnb in Taunton, which I would never thought people would do an Airbnb in Taunton, but they are. And he's paying and he's getting $125 a night, 20 days out the month because of where it's located. And so, part of why we're bringing this group together is to expand your thinking beside the normal way of using property. So obviously, we want to buy something to live in it, but then there are other ways that you can monetize it. So that last M of monetizing, getting creative with how you get income coming into your place, is something that we all have to do. Because I would have never thought to do an Airbnb in Taunton. No. I'm like, who is staying there? And he said, well, Dexter, if you think about it, he said, you can get to Boston, you can get to Providence, you can go south to other places. I was like, that's true. So, and a lot of the people that he had been, and then he'd also been connecting with the travel nurses program.
Right.
So
and that's a big. That's a big industry.
Yeah,
right there. That's world. That's just nationwide.
Yeah. So if you can find a property in hospital, college area, whatever else, you might be able to have something, outside of normal renters things, so you want to have a combination of obviously all of it, but we all just want to find different ways to monetize it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, rents are definitely have gone up, even if like Taunton, or even if the other smaller areas where you think rent was never up, because with the moratorium, some of those mom and pops that have just a few multifamilies, they've got to recoup, right?
Right.
So some of those rents are going up, and then with inflation, rents are going up. So
right.
I mean, here we go back into being an economist here.
well, we're thinking like business people. You got to think like economists. But you're looking at. I believe now is a great time to buy. I know I hear other people talking, I don't know, but I'm like, now is a great time to buy because people will always need a place to stay. And so if that's the case, now it's always got to buy well. But people are if they're freezing and they're afraid to buy, they still have to have a place to live. And I heard a guy say this, and I'll get to our next question. He said on the first of the month, you're either receiving rent or paying rent. Which side you want to be on? Ooh, that's good. Well, ain't that good, y'all? That's good.
It is.
I want to be on both. Well, I want to be on both. I want to be receiving rent. And so it's just thinking of, and you said earlier, thinking entrepreneurial and thinking like a business owner. The biggest hindrance I see a lot of people who are just maybe getting started, because this group is mostly maybe new beginners or people who maybe 1 or 2 units. You're listening to too much noise out there. What Biden is saying and all that. Listen, money is always circulating, because this is obviously we're talking real estate, but we're also talking about financial literacy and financial education and wealth building. Listen, there's not a lack of money out there, not a lack of resources. Now, it may not be in your pocket. Yet. That's why we're here to get in our pocket. But it's always circulating, and so I think that's why we started this group. The more we can educate you, it fights off the fear. It's the education, it's the knowledge, it's the community that's working with you, and so we can move forward and get some things together. Make sense? All right. So I talked about that. Talk about working on multiple markets, because she's one of the masters at it.
I don't know about that.
Crystal does a show with Reels. I call it her show. She says Reels. To me, it's a show. But she'll say, I'm having coffee here in New Bedford, and I'm having coffee over here in Northampton. I'm having coffee over here in such and such. And then she'll, and usually you'll have a professional, so you're talking to an appraiser or an inspector, whatever. So talk to us about the importance of working in different markets.
Well, I do, like you said, I'll just kind of spin off. I like to be known as the coffee realtor, because I like.
You need to brand that.
I mainly go to, seriously, the mom and pop shops that are have amazing coffee, and just do a little bit of, give them people a little information about that particular coffee shop. And of course, I love coffee, so it works. And so wherever I go, and maybe a few stats about the area, just in case somebody would like to live there. I just do what I can to help, to give out some information, and then on to the next area that I'm at. But and I enjoy doing it, truly.
No, you do a great job at that. That's why I was like,
you got to have fun with it.
Well, actually, I'm trying to get on your show. Remember, I said we gotta hook up somewhere. After I drink tea, but put on your show.
Okay. We can have tea. And truly, it helps with the inspectors. I've had inspectors. I've had lenders on there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to get one of my attorneys, and they're very shy about that. Yeah. So anyway, we're still working on that. I might have an appraiser up, and whatever anybody out there that can give you guys more information that I could ever give you, that's what I want to provide too. And so we all learn, what it is we need to know, so we can help the people that don't know. And it's just on down the line. Same thing like you had asked me. I think as far as the retail and the investment side. Right. Say you have somebody that is a first-time home buyer, and they purchased their home, and now it's a few years down the road, and they're thinking, well, maybe I want to invest in something, maybe I want to. So they need to know, and who are they going to turn to? They have to trust somebody. Yeah, exactly. And so you are going to, the more that we learn together, the more that I learn from Dexter, the more that we network, we're able to help the public as well learn about what it is that that they're looking for, and help provide a solution to their issue or whatever. Or if they have a large family, maybe they need to have a multifamily. How do I invest? What do the systems look like downstairs? What do I need to look for? There's so much to do. I mean, a lot of moving parts to real estate transactions. Tons of it.
And I think it overwhelms people sometimes.
So I mean, that's, for me personally, I like to be able to do it, because I want to see. It's not the FOMO necessarily, the fear of missing out. Maybe a little bit, but not a huge extreme. However, I do like to know as much as I can about what I don't know, of course, and then really just add to what I have learned and what I do know, so I can help the next person. Just put it together, and then just kind of work as a team. Right. And that's just something I enjoy. I think it's to my benefit and to others.
Well, it's greatly to your benefit, because not only do we have people who are real estate entrepreneurs in general, and one of the things that I was on a call this afternoon, and a person was talking about the importance of short videos, because what is nowadays is people's attention is the currency of life now, and you got to find ways to get people's attention, to let people know. When they do decide to buy a house, ting-ling-ling-ling, call me. Or when you do decide to do whatever your business is, that they call you. It's so top of mind. And so I think that the reason why I wanted to ask you is talking about the importance of people putting their business out there, because I have a lot of people around. I have a few around me who are sort of reluctant to do that. And it's like, if you want to be in business nowadays, you've got to get out there and do these little short videos and things of that nature, because it's brand awareness. It's all about brand awareness.
I was pushed by a coach that said, you need to get, I was like, no, I do not want to get in front of the camera. Are you crazy? And I was pushed hard. And I probably had 100 takes on just one ad.
That's how it starts.
And it was scary, really super scary. And then I couldn't look at it. But that was pre-COVID too. And then after a while I said, social media, I know where it's at. I have a friend that's in marketing, and he's been helping me. So he said the attention span, like you said, especially with the younger folks.
People in general, I don't read long stuff. If your stuff is too long, I'll be bothered. Click.
But it's 30 to 60 seconds.
That's all you
really.
got, really.
And so my marketer says, you know what, Crystal, while they're standing in line, at a coffee shop, they're looking at a coffee video or they're looking at something, and some sort of reel. It's only 30 to 60 seconds. That's about how long it takes. And if you over and over and over again, and they see you all of the time, something's going to click. Something is going to be said that can help somebody out there. And so I do enjoy doing the reels as well. And sometimes with social marketing, if you're going to get in, you have to do it every day, whether you like it or not. It's like brushing your teeth, whether you like it or not. You have to do it every day, because it's the strangest. People expect it.
True.
They expect it from you whenever they.
Right.
And if you all of a sudden go
disappear,
AWOL, where'd you go?
Yeah.
It's the oddest thing, but it does work. It's just staying top of mind,
right.
Truly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I listen from a lot of the best that's out there, you being one of them, and you just have to push yourself.
Yeah, you do. I think that the biggest thing you have to fight off is being a perfectionist. And it's just like, listen, I'm just going to shoot this video. My shirt may be crooked or whatever else is going on. I got a spot on it. People know sometimes, if your shirt was crooked, so what? I shot the video. I don't care.
I did what I was supposed to.
Yeah, I shot the video. You're watching me. I'm not watching you. So that's sort of my attitude with it. And you just do it enough times, you'll get better at it. But what I found is that I was in Florida with my cousin last week, and I took a picture. I just posted actually on LinkedIn. The amount of traction you will get with people recognizing, I don't know how many places, because I was in Florida at a pastor's conference, and these guys are from all over the country. It's, Dexter, you're flipping houses now. I hadn't had a conversation with many of them about doing that, but they follow me on my social media, about LinkedIn, and cause that's my probably channel or venue that I like the most, because that's where most business people sort of hang out in LinkedIn. So if y'all don't have a LinkedIn profile with a real business picture, don't have your picture on you eating cookies or something else. You need to have a real business picture and don't have your box empty in there. That's just a side note. But anyway, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok is hot now. So because what TikTok wants to do, I don't know how we got over here, but is this helping y'all at all or something? Okay. I just want to make sure we talking about stuff that ain't helping people. Y'all leave it. I want to make sure this is helping y'all. Make sure you got questions, call in, the email and all that. But, you're looking at, you never know where, I said all that, you never know where your deal is going to come from or where your next client is going to come from. And so putting yourself out there in these things, and like you said, being top of mind is part of the first F, find. People, you have to be found. You have to be found so they can find you. Meaning, if they see you enough, they'll say, "Oh yeah, Crystal sells houses, or Dexter sells houses, or Christine, she wants to sell a house." And so those are things that you have to begin to do. And once you set your intention, that's what I found, is that people will bring stuff your way. So, but the intention has to be set. And to your point of, I've got to be consistent enough to be able to start putting some content out there. 2 or 3 minutes, 60-second stuff. Hey, I'm in line at getting some coffee or such and such. I got a real estate tip for you. Those type of things, and it goes that quickly.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Questions for Crystal. Let's open it up. We've been talking long enough. Any questions in the audience? Any questions come in? Before we wrap up, I don't know how much time we have left, but you guys know that I am very serious about getting you guys started in real estate. So what my wife and I did is we came up with something called the Getting Started Real Estate Bundle. And so what we've done is put together a set of 1 video, 3 ebooks, and that's going to be kicking off over the next week or so. So if you're part of this group, you guys get it for $197. So if you want to take part of that, let me know. And what I'm gonna do is, because you guys are part of the group, I'm gonna give you a free consultation with that too. So you want to sign up, make sure that you do that, because after that, who knows what it's gonna be. You know? And okay, I'll sell to y'all for $199. How about that? But anyway, that we'll have more information on that. But you know what I wanted to do is a compilation of all the questions that Kendra and I have been asked since 2016. How do you do this and how do you do that, and what if you with this and what do you do that? So as opposed to answering the question 10,000 times, I put it in the ebook and put it in some videos. Got it? Questions? Talk to us.
I got one. Hold on 1 second. Now back to Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
How do you? What impact has the casino had on the real estate market out there?
Well, there's a lot of parties, and there's a lot of dancing in the street, and there's a lot of music. You know, I really don't know how to answer that necessarily. I think it's been great for Springfield because they needed something like that. Mm-hmm. Because it's provided just a lot of activity, a lot more activity. People do tend to come, you know, and then they, you know, buy, sell.
There's a lot of tourism dollars coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if you, an investor, had an Airbnb, I imagine somewhere near the casino, take advantage of that.
It could definitely be helpful. Okay. I mean, they still have the Basketball Hall of Fame, and they have, you know, a lot of those different things in Springfield. So, you know, there's a lot of it's iconic to a degree for many different reasons, but I think that it's helped. I know a lot of people have tend to go to the Mohegan. Mm-hmm. Now that you have one in Springfield, and then you have, of course, the Six Flags, and then it just draws people for more revenue. I think I haven't. Now, you know, there's other people that know definitely more about that than myself. But what I've seen, in my opinion, looking at the market, it's relative across the board. I don't know how much that really has had an impact, because it was there. How many years pre-COVID?
With the casino?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, no, it's been there.
two or three.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that it's had an impact on, you know, just with everything with COVID. You know, we used to gather there a lot. You know, my colleagues and myself, and just quite a few of us would pour money into the casino, because there's just more to offer than gambling. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
Yeah. It's like I said, that's kind of a hard one to answer in the economy wise. But as far as, like I said, the housing, it seems to be straight across the board as it has been. You know, days to market this year as opposed to last year have been about the same. We've had more price changes just in the last couple of months, I think, than
big time.
That I can remember, because like I said, I don't know when you guys came in exactly, but you know, the market with, just like it said, in 2020, 21, it's been so high. Now with the price changes coming down, people feel like they missed the boat. Let's hurry up and sell, and they have a little bit to a degree. And so now we have homes that are sitting a little bit longer. A lot of sellers feel like their home is worth perhaps more than which it was a couple of years ago to them. And so I don't know how I went really that direction, but that's kind of what I know.
I think I threw a tough one at you anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe rephrase it in terms of, say, if you multifamily, a employment for a renter, say if they worked at the casino, do you see a lot of turnover there, or where you wouldn't be somewhat gun shy to, invest in a multifamily and worry about, okay, are they going to be able to pay the rent? Just to go back to what Dexter said earlier, are they're going to fall behind on the rent because the casino's not doing well? If that happens to be their source of employment. The
source of income, which could be any source of income there, truly. I think you just have to vet those renters really well. Right. And if you can buy something that's already have the renter, the renters are already in there, then
That could
They're in
help.
good shape.
It could
I truly feel like it's vetting the renters, because you don't know what they've been doing for the last couple of years,
Yeah, that's true.
and they may not want to share that with you. So it's pretty much everywhere. But yeah, that can be tricky. But I don't know that I would necessarily, equate that with what's going on with the casino, because there's so many different jobs there. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I know you talked about Springfield. What about some of the other areas like Pittsfield that was mentioned, or Holyoke, Chicopee, or some of those other smaller surrounding towns? What do
Okay.
you think about those and investing in those areas?
Now Pittsfield, I don't go out there much, so I really don't want to, I don't really want to say a whole lot about Pittsfield. He mentioned Pittsfield. That's Berkshire area.
No, it's a hike. It's west and high. We went there. We've gone the last 2 years for vacation, I believe. We're probably going there in a couple months, in a couple weeks for vacation again. But it's, you tend to think, I saw the west. I'm like, no, we've been riding for a minute.
Yeah,
we've
you're
been,
basically
we've been
all
riding
New
for a
York
minute.
State.
I think what you're like an hour from Albany. Almost an hour from Albany.
You're close.
Yeah. So I'm like, yo, we way up here. But go ahead, I'm sorry, here's a question.
So Chicopee and Holyoke, yes. Obviously, they're smaller communities, but there's areas in both of those cities that you could definitely find something multifamily. But like I said, everybody's looking because they know where to look. Now, if you go on the west side of the Connecticut, up in the Highlands of Holyoke, not so much. Those are a little bit higher dollar homes, and you're going to want to go back to the east side of the Connecticut River to check out homes, maybe so in, inner city Holyoke. Same thing with Chicopee. People tend to look there as well. You could go up to Greenfield. There's a less populace there, but as far as if we're talking about renting, okay. If we're talking about grabbing something to flip, the thing is people like to, like I said, they like to keep those prices up high. And if you're going in and if you try to do the numbers, it may not work, because you have to look at where you really are, and will you get that price back? Will you get that ARV? Will you get the ARV right? Or will you get enough for rent? Because some of the people there may not be bringing in the income that you would want for your rent. So and that could be anywhere.
True.
But yeah, Holyoke and Chicopee are definitely two good areas to look for multifamilies. So Springfield, Chicopee, Holyoke. Some of the other outskirts town, like Northampton, is not where you're going to want to go to get multifamily. And then outside of Springfield, you've got East Longmeadow,
Okay.
Ludlow. You could try to look there. There's a lot of nice areas in Ludlow as well. Westfield, Agawam, Feeding Hills. That's going to be a little bit more of a
That's
single
more-
family,
okay.
high dollar community there. So, but the people that have those multifamilies in some of those areas are holding tight. They're holding on to them. Good luck getting in. Unless you want to rent. So, and then of course, if you can pick up something that you can purchase around Amherst, that would be great, because, which would be tough, but it would be great because you have so many students. So anything on the outskirts there would be, great to try to find a rental there. Something that's probably already rented, because it's expensive. It's expensive. Taxes are expensive to live in Amherst. Even north of that, Deerfield, Leverett, that's an expensive area. Northampton, even going outside of Northampton up to Williamsburg, that area, you start to get more land. You get quite quaint communities, and some of those folks have lived there for a very long time, and they're staying. So, yeah. So there's but there's opportunity. There's opportunity, everywhere. But, and like I said,
Well, yeah, and we always preach patience. That you just be prepared to look at a lot of properties, and wait a long time, and then what I found is that if people are willing to do that, because you set the intention that you're going to find something pops up. And I think having a realtor like yourself and others who are out there with sort of ears to the ground, say, hey, look, this is about to come on, or have you taken a look at this or whatever else. And so that's why you're here tonight, or one of the reasons you're here tonight. I like you, first of all. Second reason, because I trust you. And the second reason, because you Crystal could be potentially the person, as you're telling her your criteria, what you're looking for, as she's out and about and talking to people, having coffee and doing whatever else she's doing. She be able to find you something.
So I have a question. So are there any emerging markets out in that area? Because obviously, as an investor, you're looking to get in before the market rises. Is everything pretty status quo, or do you see anything emerging?
I don't personally see anything emerging. I think everything's really status quo. You might see a little bit of a tip in some areas, but then you might look again and it's not there. So I think pretty much up and down 91, it's fairly status quo. Almost like, do you see any changes on the east side? No. It's pretty sad. So we're all waiting.
Yeah,
we're all waiting
it's
for
neighborhoods,
something.
but it's not really like big cities or towns that are shifting like that. So a lot of this is just timing. Big time.
Yeah.
You're in Rhode Island a little bit too, aren't you?
I sold there.
Okay.
Just a couple properties, but not a lot.
Got it.
Not a lot. Nice area, but I do spend time in New Bedford and kind of the surrounding, and
I know.
I'm around.
That's why you're here. It's like this woman, she's everywhere.
So, but
She getting oil changed all the time.
It's a good state. It really is. I know it's Massachusetts. It's true, but it is a good state. That's one thing I can tell you. The taxes in specific areas, well, just like anywhere over here, but one place that I learned recently, and it's not very far from where I live, and I was pleasantly surprised. I had a listing there. Now I'm going to say the name, and everyone's going to jump. But anyway, so Irving, and it's just on Highway 2, because from Greenfield over down to Fitchburg, if you guys know where Orange is, Gardner, all that area. Okay, so Irving is a very coveted little area, community. And one of the biggest reasons is it's on it's right there, Highway 2. You can jump over to, Fitchburg, Leominster, Worcester, Boston, and then on the other side it's Greenfield, or jump down to, on 91 to Springfield. However, people like it there because the taxes are only like $2,000.
Oh, nice.
As opposed to,
Some
12-ish in Amherst or wherever. You know what I mean? It's so different. You could just hop a few steps, to the left, and taxes could be lower, and hop a few steps, same as over here. So anyway, people do really like to try to find something there.
Now, Krista gave y'all a nugget now. She said Irving's.
I know. People are, why did you say anything?
Irving, you should have whispered, text me to town.
It's a small area. It really is a small area.
Talk about Fitchburg, because I see a lot of stuff in Fitchburg.
Fitchburg,
granted, I haven't been in Fitchburg. First of all, to me, it's a long drive. I ain't been out there in I can't remember the last time I've been out in Fitchburg. But talk about Fitchburg.
Well, I can tell you this, as we trek down Highway 2 from Greenfield, it's a little less expensive in that area, and even less in Orange, even though I think it's picking up a little bit. You've got a couple lakes there people like to frequent during the summertime and whatnot. But I don't want to tell you anything negative here. Trek past Orange, trek past Gardner, and then eventually you get to Fitchburg. And obviously, the closer you get to Boston on Highway 2, the more expensive things get.
Right.
So Fitchburg has.
Because
I think it's kind of.
Did you have Fitchburg Estates there?
Yes, yes, and that helps too if you're looking to purchase some sort of multifamily there. People do like looking in that area, not just for the college, but you can get decent rents there as well, and you can pick up something for a better, maybe it's going to be more expensive, I think, more so than in inner city Springfield because of where you are. But it's not a bad place. Further you get close to Leominster, that's when the price point starts to raise a little bit.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to think of what I can equate to Fitchburg. Probably a little bit more so than, probably closer to Greenfield as far as pricing and whatnot.
Right, okay.
A little higher.
Okay.
It's kind of runs
Yeah,
neck and neck.
I've had a couple of wholesalers send me deals from Fitchburg, and I'm just...
I might have been.
Yeah, one was a fire damaged property for like $75,000.
Yes.
Which
And-
you probably seen that one, but
I did.
Which I've never done a fire damaged property, so I was like, And then Fitchburg is way up there, and then you got to find contractors, and so I was like, I'll leave that one alone. But I've had some people that I know buy a couple 4-unit, 5-unit
Right.
properties out there, which is next what we're looking for, to start getting that 4, 5, and 6 units, because that's where you're getting these multiple the cash flow coming in off it, which makes it worth it. Yeah.
There are definitely some nice places in Fitchburg, nice areas in Fitchburg. It's for sure. And you could definitely, but if you have not picked up anything, somebody else is already picking it up.
True.
So you have to be quick.
Yeah, your stuff is quick.
They already know.
Yeah.
And they're picking up. And it's true around Fitchburg area, you've got Ayer, Shirley,
Yes.
Lunenburg, Lancaster, and those are all really nice areas
Ayer.
too.
Really?
You could, yeah. If they
Because
can pick
Air
up
is
single-
military, isn't it military in that area? A base? Is that somewhere in Air?
In Ayer?
Yeah.
Ayer, Ayer?
Yeah. I thought it wasn't a military base there or something? Is that
A while
it's
gone?
ago? It's closed? Yeah, I thought it was.
Okay.
At one time it was.
That's probably why I know. If it
People
closed
look at me
up.
like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. But anyway, no, if you pick up a single family there that you want to flip or rent, that would be a really good find. And they are a little bit more expensive in that area for sure. And that would be the reason why. Yeah, they're just, it's more of a country feel too, and quaint areas, communities. So, yeah, that would be a nice find. And people, they want to rent single family homes, not just multifamily.
True.
They want single families, and big investors are hitting the single family homes.
Yeah, that's
So
what they're grabbing them.
Because everybody has pets. Some people might smoke, and then they're not going to let go of their pets, and they can't take them to the apartment. So
Single family
we need a
home.
single family home.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
So if you could-
I think, actually, let me take this question out, we can talk offline.
Thank you so much for being here and
Oh, thank
taking
you.
the time to answer everyone's questions. As I sit listening to you guys chat, I wonder about how important is it to have a team in place, and at what point do you develop your team? Before, after, in the middle? Is there a particular?
All the way, all of that.
Can you repeat the question? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
The question was pertaining to how important is your team, and when should you build it? And I answered the second part of that yesterday. And one of the things I talk about when you're investing in other areas, one of the things I look for is boots on the ground. Who do I know? We felt very comfortable investing in New Bedford because we had a good friend of ours who lived there. And if I said, hey, Scott, could you run over to this place and check this stuff out? He would run over there. And then when we got down there, we met a woman who lived across the street from the property, and she's acted as our pseudo property manager. So she shovels snow and she cuts grass. And because you got to think about this as a business, and I'm not getting here to be a landlord per se. And I'm not driving 45 minutes. The toilet broke. I'm not doing that. So you got to get a team. And so one of your criteria as you begin to think about this as a business is where can I invest where I can build a team. Now, a realtor is a good connection because a lot of times if they're a good realtor, they have connection with the carpenter and the connection with an appraiser and the connection with whatever else. And so that's why I'm a big fan of when I go into a particular area, like areas that I'm looking into. I'm looking at an agent or a realtor who not only can sell me a house, but who can also give me referrals of other people that I can use, because that's critical.
Very much so. So yeah, like he said yesterday, I totally agree. You have to, like we met right away. You know, what's your number? Put it in my phone. Whatever you have to put in there to help remember that person, because plumbers, electricians,
everything,
everybody that's
property
could be a
managers,
subcontractor, and you just build it as you go. It's like building the plane as you fly it.
True.
Truly, and you learn just along the way. But team is everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I know this is cliche, but there is no I in team. And I tell you what, we struggle with that, because we can do it ourselves. We can't. There's too much.
Because there's so many moving parts in the real estate transaction. I think one day I sat down and I just looked at all the different people who eat off a real estate transaction. It was like 10, 11 people. So you just can't do this business by yourself. And I think that was my hindrance, and one of the things that I was scared of, if I'm honest. I'm saying scared, but reluctant to get involved with long distance, because of, if something goes wrong, how am I going to handle that? But then, as I keep going back to this word, if you get the intention of, this is what I'm going to do, what will begin to happen? God will begin to set people up around you and help you build your team. And because I am a pastor, so this is my pastoral moment for y'all here. God will begin to surround you with the people that you need. But it's as Chris was saying, as you're moving. And I think we want to get people unstuck. That's what this whole group is all about. Few people have taken the action, because we say, you know what? We've been listening to this long enough. We're gonna do something, and that's what we want to do, is get you unstuck, get you moving. I want to give you the gift of action. Finishing up 2022, heading the year 2023. We want you guys to as you feel comfortable, get some things moving. So, yeah.
To add on to that, what groups would you recommend people go to? How do you make those connections? Because I think that's a big question that folks have.
I like to go lending groups. Anybody that has anything to do. I mean, the money is
where the money's at. Yeah.
So like definitely Brownstone, and just places like that.
Yeah.
But I do like to focus on different hard money groups. Any kind of lending, even if it's not hard money, whatever that has to do with that. Especially, I feel like. A case in point, tomorrow, and I will be doing a coffee video in Portsmouth, New Hampshire tomorrow. So, but
give us a shout out. I was at Randolph the other night.
So I'm headed over to a networking group for a friend of mine he's a lender, and I mean, even though it's New Hampshire. I'm not licensed in New Hampshire, but I know somebody that is licensed in New Hampshire, and we will definitely be able to work together.
Right.
It's not that far. So, and even if it was, we're in Switzerland now.
Yeah.
Did you know I know you're not KW. KW
I am KW.
Okay, we are KW.
I wasn't when I was Remax before. I'm KW now.
That's right. You did switch over. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that.
We didn't.
But we're in Switzerland now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. So anyway, New Hampshire's not far, and
referral fees.
It just exactly. You just have to get out there. I know sometimes you just don't feel like it every day going somewhere, every week going somewhere, to find it. But now the nation's open,
right? And
really, it's the time. I mean, there's no time like yesterday, and you just gotta find that. They're all over Facebook. There's networking groups everywhere.
I was about to say that social media is a big thing. You can put, hey, I'm looking for a carpenter, and put it in a particular group, and you get. Now, obviously, you got to vet them. Trust and verify is what I say. But to your point of. I break them down into two groups. There's an in group and the live stuff like we're doing right now, but then there's also the social media. There's a ton of them. So you get on Facebook, the LinkedIn's, and all that, and you just put your stuff out there. And what I found is even out of state, I've just put I feel like I'm a commercial for LinkedIn, but listen, if you're not on LinkedIn, I just think you're missing out on a lot of things. So I've just put it in my message thing, and I've connected people in North Carolina, I've connected people in California, right around real estate. And so, people will connect you with people, but that's how you have to do it, both live as well as that. And then, if you do go to Meetup, there are all type of real estate meetup groups all over the place. Some in Worcester, some in New Hampshire, we're doing one that's actually one that is another one meets in Randolph on the 4th Tuesdays of the month. I actually go to that one, so you just have to get in there. And once you do that, you just begin to ask people, who do you use? Who do you use for a lender? Who do you use for this? Who do you use for that? And those people will give you good referrals, because I believe that in the Noah's Ark theory of everything, you want 2 of everything, minimum. So. Any more questions as we wrapping up this session? Give it up for Crystal.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
I don't want to embarrass her, but she when I first asked her, she told me no.
I did.
And I don't take no for an answer.
And somehow I knew that he was going to come back with that.
Yeah. She told me no. I was like, you don't tell me no. I don't just invite anybody on this show. If I invite you on this show, I like you and I trust you. And so,
well, I appreciate it. I'm very honored.
So I said, so we had a brief conversation. She graciously decided to come.
I prayed a lot.
She graciously decided to come and share her expertise and her knowledge with us. And so I'm glad she's able to do that. All right, so I think that wraps up our show. Our next month's show will be on the whatever the 3rd Tuesday is in November. We'll do what is it, babe?
The 15th.
15th, so November 15th will be our next meeting. I'm looking at setting up a live tour either, well, probably this Saturday, maybe next Saturday. So I talked to Robert Forst and his wife, so they're doing a project out in Stoughton. And then we're doing a project out in West Bridgewater. So if you guys want to walk a property and touch it and ask questions and all of that, be on the lookout for that. So this is good theory here, but it's something about you actually walking a property and say, okay, what do I look for when I'm looking for a property, and why did you guys do this? I think it's very hands-on part of what we want to begin to start doing with you guys. December session will be a little bit different if we decide to do one in December. We'll see based off what sort of Christmas and holidays, things of that nature. But next month is a friend of mine, Joe Sway Velney. He's a big-time developer in Boston. So he's going to come through and share his knowledge and expertise. He's former firefighter for Somerville and Marine and all that type of stuff. But he's done some real. I think he just got an award as one of the top developers in city of Boston, under 40 under 40. They had that on the list, 40 under 40 and all that stuff. So he's somewhere on one of those lists, and so he'll be here next month. Yeah, very good list. Not very good guy. He's someone I lean on for as we're looking to get bigger, because we haven't done anything investing wise in Boston. So most of his property is in like Roxbury, so on and so forth, and he does some stuff in Somerville. So he's playing on a much bigger price point than we're paying right now. So I lean on him. Like I haven't pulled the trigger on $1 million something yet, but we're working on that. That's what we're growing. All right. So that concludes tonight. Again, if you want to take advantage of that getting started real estate bundle, make sure you see me before you go. That goes for you guys here as well as those out there, because we want to make sure that you get started in the year 2022, in the year 2023. So till next month, you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot us the email at Let's Talk Real Estate. I think that should be somewhere. I think Let's Talk Real Estate 12@gmail.com. Let's Talk Real Estate 12@gmail.com, and we can answer any questions that you may have. So till then, we'll see you next month. Good night. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we did it.